earning money using money. Anyone who is looking for better, then you might start thinking of that. And that's what I'm going to talk about mostly in the things that I want to say here. So in that case, we talk about investments. We are talking about things like rental income. We are talking about the dividends that you get, the interest that you get out of the investments that you have made where you are. And most of these things has very little to do with whether someone is well educated over them or not. There are some few concepts that I want to talk about here that determines what happens. Lastly, in the other level of earning money, before I expound on the third one, is what I call cash transfers. Either money that you had earned earlier is now being given by the government in terms of the cash transfers, or family remittances. Ukona watu ambao wako majuu, so they can be sending you money and you will be still living and getting the resources. Or royalties based on the concept of something you had created for those who are creative in the things that they do. So you can get those remittances. But you can also confirm with me that if I rely on my children to give me the resources that I need to do the things that I have, then I'm thinking of something that might not work for me throughout. Because after all, the Bible says, I think that is the book of, let me read it, although I didn't plan to read it, but allow me to read it for you. In the book of 1 Corinthians, Paul writes and tells the people whom he was speaking to that in all circumstances, all the resources that we need, it is the parents who are supposed to be giving the resources to their children and not the reverse. So whenever we look at resources to be coming from our children, then that aspect of us thinking that our children will be making money to come and assist us need not to be in our minds as Adventist men. I don't know whether I'm speaking to people. Am I making sense? As Adventist men, it is us who are supposed to make resources that our children will have and will be getting through. I hope children are not in this congregation listening to me talk. But the concept is, whenever we are as young or as men of impact, the call is, we are the people who are supposed to make the resources for our children. Now, take note about this. Before we get into wealth making, please get to understand that wealth creation has some determinants. We may all be here, we may sit here, we may listen, we may get everything we want, but not all of us will create wealth. Why? Number one, the family you are in. Listen to how this affects the way we create wealth. For those who are married, all the men of impact here, the type of spouse that you have may make you create wealth or may make you fail to create wealth. Why? The way she thinks or the way she looks at things, if she's not wired towards the future, seeing things here and now, then she will not be able to encourage you to make more money. You know, there are those of us who earn money, and then the first thing that happens to them as your spouse will determine whether you will have money or not, will determine your wealth creation processes because of the perception that she has about money and the way it happens. We also have our culture as Africans, the concept of black tax. All of us knows about that. I'm not trying to say we don't help each other, but I'm trying to say when it goes to a certain level where the dependency ratio is so high, then in as much as you want to create wealth, it might not be there because of the black tax that you are paying around you. So the family where someone comes from has an impact on wealth creation. Number two is the lifestyle. And in lifestyle, one of the things I say, money and emotions do not go together. Whenever you get your money, remove emotions from it, such that you don't go spending with emotions. That someone has made you so happy, so you go ahead and give out the money. No. Money and emotions do not go together. Anyone who wants to spend must first of all critically think of what he wants to do, and then he goes ahead and do it. That is why in the next day you see your neighbor has bought a 64-inch TV, and because your emotions tells you that you should be higher than him, you go on to say, next month I'm buying an 84-inch. And that is an emotion. It has nothing. What is it that is pushing you to buy? What is the motivation towards the expenditure that you want to undertake? Money requires patience. You cannot build money once in a while. That you get money today and it serves all the purposes that you want. There are those of us, one time I had a friend who used to work as a mechanic. Anytime he is paid, he forgets about his work, and therefore he goes on enjoying the money until it is done. That is when he comes back for it. Our lifestyle must be able to conform to those things that can make us earn money. Another thing about lifestyle, anytime your salary, you are giving your body some kind of life. When salary increases, now he orders Uber to carry him to work, not knowing that that salary is earning is someone's employment. And what will happen to it? It can end any time and you will go back to where you were. The next item about one of the other determinants of wealth creation is what we call knowledge. And knowledge here is about having what we call financial literacy. And this one has nothing to do with whether you have studied accounting, finance, business, economics. No. It has very interesting concepts that each and every one of us must learn as an individual. And not everyone else, even in those fields, learn it. Why? Because there is this concept we call education and schooling are two different things. So we must learn to know, what is it that I need to know about money? How does money work? You also need to know, what is it that I have to do with the money that I have for me to be able to make a difference? What do I mean by this? When you look at someone who is a businessman who did not go to school, allow me to use that loosely, and you compare him with a businessman who is well educated, the way these two people conduct their businesses are too different. Some of us may be conducting it by instinct or by innate characters, but those who have the knowledge will know how to expand. That is why even to date, you will see someone who started a retail shop somewhere where close to you is still running that retail shop to date. Why is he not expanding? Is because his level of understanding cannot allow him to expand. If he expands, that business will fail. But if someone had a better idea, he will think of, how do I open this business in Kisumu, in Kitale, in Eldoret? Because he's going global. His mind is global. So that is why the knowledge that you have about something will help you to create more money than if you don't have it. So go to school if you have an opportunity to go to school. 20, those emotions will not allow you to grow your wealth. They do for fun. But I tell you, when I stand here, mine is not for fun. I'm looking for how you can do things in terms of weight going into retirement, because when you are 50, please know that the days for retirement have reached. Don't pretend. And if you are going further than that, please just know that you are eating into your retirement. You should have sat down, start enjoying life with your grandchildren. Did I speak to someone? Or maybe that is not good enough. Understand and manage the risks around what you are doing. One of the greatest things that affects us as men is not preparing ourselves for the risks that may come. For example, whenever death occurs that my pastor was talking about here, it becomes an emergency, is it? If right now you receive a phone call that one of your relatives have died, it automatically becomes an emergency when you know it can do what? It can come. So one of the things that we need to do as Adventists is to prepare for emergencies. And you prepare for emergencies by taking insurances and by creating emergency funds for any of the things that will come. But you know, you might not be able to create emergency fund if you didn't make the money in the first place. Time and the compounding interest effect. Money grows with time. When you were in the vehicle, when you were coming here, a friend of mine was talking. Let me share this. He didn't know that I will come and talk about this. But one of the things that you were discussing was the time that you spend doing whatever you are doing is what determines the money that you will have. All of us have 24 hours, is it? How you use those 24 hours determines your poverty levels or your wealth. So if you like sleeping, just sleep. But poverty will come unto you. The wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. Now those verses have one concept that I want you to understand. The first one, in verse 1 and 2, talks about casting your bread upon the waters. Whenever we do investments, one of the things that we are doing is you are putting it as a seed fund. Then it will grow over time to give you the earnings that you are having. We live in a society that people believe in instant gratification. People who believe in instances, here and now. So when I'm looking for money, I want that money here and now. If you see someone having a phone and you think that that phone was gotten that way, no. Someone worked to get whatever he's having. So please, the rule is give it time to grow. And if you think it's a joke, learn from nature. Because nature teaches food must be given time to grow. Sorry. So by giving time to grow, this is what I mean. Any investments that you make, it is the time that determines how services are not needed. But when you terminate the employment by yourself, you are simply trying to say, I know what I'm doing and I can do it without you. That's the level you want you to reach, financial stability. These are the following investments, and we have been told they can be 7 days 18th. If your salary for April does not come, what will happen to you? That one determines your financial stability. If you cannot pay rent for this month, then it means you are in problems. And I wish to all our men not to be in that problem. Get to understand that you should not be things that you have within your pockets this morning. Now, as I talk, you want it at any time you want, because I know people like anytime you want, because I know people like being liquid. You want anytime you want money. Please, if you have money, if you have money in your M-Pesa right now, let me see. Let me check if you allow me, Pastor. How does here have 1,000 and above lying in their M-Pesa? Just carry up your hand. Just your M-Pesa. Use. In case you want that format, please go ahead and buy. Property, again, we can have rentals. And by the way, the capital gains in land is one of the